Good morning, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is a little bit about my Ikamper you see set up behind me. Now if you take notice, I've put my original Ikamper tent back onto the vehicle. I did that late yesterday afternoon during the cool of the day. It's quite warm up here in sunny Queensland at the moment. I just found it too hot. I think if I did that option where I put the side window on there, I reckon that will help enormously in keeping it cool. But the problem is I found is more so to do with the size of the fly, because like I mentioned on the video that I did on the mesh tent, it's known as the airflow tent. I've noticed on their website that the size of the fly, because it's made in that polyester material, it gets a lot hotter than what the canvas does. So it's amazing the difference it makes. I mean, right now I've got it all closed up, but if I open those two side windows and I've got that nice breeze coming through, I've got no problem sitting in there all day. And it actually keeps it that much cooler. So I thought, so for that reason, I'm probably going to end up selling the mesh tent. Now, I think for Queensland, in our weather, I reckon it'll make a really good tent for winter. But I think the original, definitely, for me, is the pick. It looks nicer as well. I don't know if I'll ever going to use the mesh tent. I'll end up selling it. It's brand new. I've had it up 3 times and I'll let it go for half the price. So for those here in Australia, if you want it, the half price, it's yours. So can post as long as you're willing to pay the freight. So I'll probably stick to Australia. I don't know how much postage is overseas, but if you're watching from overseas and you're really desperate for one of these and you can't get them in your country, I mean, shoot me a message and I'll see what I can work out how much the freight might be, but I think it might end up being a bit too much anyway. I wanted to show you something else that I've managed to get my hands on. I've got one of these Annexes. I've always wanted to try one of these. Overcomes a lot of the privacy concerns. The only issue is it does take some time to set up and to take down, so it turns 1.5 minute virtually setup of the Ikamper into something like 20 minutes or so. But I think if you're base camping somewhere for a while and you're there for at least 3 days, I reckon this is a great option, particularly if you've got quite a few people around you. It's a busy period and we're coming up to a busy period now with the holidays of Christmas just around the corner at the end of the week, and it's going to be busy anywhere you go. Basically it's going to be busy, so this is great for a lot of privacy. And you could set up a shower under here as well and not worry about anyone perving on you while you're having a shower in here once you close all this door. It's relatively easy to set up. It takes very little effort. It just takes a little bit of time. So basically it's got a zip around here, so you just zip that on. Then you put your 2 poles out, okay, and then you peg it out. There is quite a few pegs in here, so, but I think it's worth the effort. As you can see, makes a perfect setup. I'm hoping it would rain today so I could test it out in the rain, but I'll just grab the hose later and just whack the hose over it and see how she goes. I've been watching, particularly on the Ikamper community Facebook group page, there's quite a fair bit of mention of late how people are setting up their lights on the Ikamper. Now where I got this Ikamper from is a company called Drifter. They used to sell them. As of about approximately a year ago, well just over a year ago, they don't sell them anymore. But it's a shame they don't sell them because They were specialists in doing modifications to improve things. And one of the improvements is the lighting system, which I was lucky to have picked up before they stopped selling the Ikampers and before they stopped selling accessories. So they had quite a few accessories, but the two main ones, they actually had a proper like canvas covered, really thick canvas cover for your ladder. And that's another thing I want to speak about. So this video today is going to be a general overall bits and pieces about the Ikamper. And then later on I'll do another video going into more details about these items. Now, I've noticed on my Ikamper, you might have noticed some of the videos, hang on, the sun's coming out now. We might just move the camera and go under the cover here. It's getting a bit warm. Alright, it's a bit better. We're out of the sun. I can feel a bit of the heat here, so I might open up on these side doors shortly. Yeah, actually let me open up one of these side doors. Okay, that's a bit better. Now we're inside, out of the elements outside. It's quite, the sun is really hot here. So I've just moved in under the Ikamper. So like I mentioned, Drifter used to make quite a few accessories for them. And one of them was actually a floor, cut the shape to fit this Annex. I would have loved to if I had the chance to grab one, but I'm pretty sure they can still custom make a floor. Now the floor is one of those ones similar to, I don't know if you've seen like the sea gear matting, where they've got all these little holes in them. So what happens is the way designed, that if you're in a sandy environment, and sand is, as long as it's dry, okay, and since it's goes on the top, it just falls through, but it won't come back up. And it also doesn't trap water as well. And they had a interesting design where they actually, you see you've got the three doors, there's one behind you there, there's one just here to my left, one to the right. It actually extended out nearly about 1 metre out past that. That way if you got these, you got the extra poles, you can put these out and it covers that area as well. And like I mentioned, if it rains on the top, it doesn't matter because the water will just go right through it. And it's the same once you got sandy, if it's wet sand, etc. As soon as that sand's dry, it'll just fall through to the matting. So it's pretty well self-cleaning, and that's one of the options. But the other options is the lighting. They sold a kit, what's called an Ikamper kit, and what it consists of is they put the kit together and it's with instructions on how to put it together. Now the parts they used in this kit is readily available, at least here in Australia. A lot of it's is your HEMA products. It's a HEMA, I think it is, HEMA or whatever, I'm not too sure how you pronounce it now. Except for some of the LED light switch. If you want the same as this one here, and I'll move the camera up shortly and I'll give you a closer look at these. If you want the same as them, then you're going to need to go through Drifter and purchase them. I'm sure they'll have no problems on selling these. Now the kit consisted of 3 lights. So basically you got a light underneath here that consists of I don't know if you can see that now, it's got an orange light, and what that does is it reduces the bugs, and it's also got your white light, your bright white light, and that's probably around about 30 odd centimeters long. Now you can easily go a little bit longer. My recommendation is probably stick to the 30 centimeter one, because I leave that on as a night light. At night when I'm camping, always leave that on the orange light, and it gives just enough area to light up all this. So if you need to go down to the middle of the night to go to the toilet or whatever, you got easy access to light. The next light is up the top here. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, can you see that? All right, so that's a flexible light, and again you just press this button and you can see how that lights up, and that's more like an entry light, so you can bend that to however way you want, and that lights up that entrance way to get in. And the third light is mounted up back, and we'll go in there and I'll show you soon, inside the Ikamper itself. On that top part, you know, you got the roof and you got that bar across the top where your tent connects to the actual hard top. Well, screwed onto that bar is another light which is similar to this one here, but the difference with that one is it also has got a variable powered light switch, so you can have it turned right down low, which is most of the time when I'm using that light, it's always turned down right low, because these are really bright. At full length strength, they're very bright LED. So I tend to always have that one turned down low. Again, it's the same, so it's got your orange and so on. There's a couple other things as well in there. On either side, up the far end, on either side the corner, there's 2 power points on either side. So you can get assorted different ones. You can have them with USB, or you can have them with cigarette lighters. I've got both USB sides, 2 USB ports and a cigarette lighter port on either side. So in total there's 2 cigarette lighter ports and 4 USB ports. So you can have your iPads, your phone, etc. charging at night time while you're sleeping, or while you're watching a movie or something on your iPad. You can have that charging, so you get up in the morning and everything's charged. Now, how do I get all the power up there, you might be wondering? Well, I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to bring the camera up close shortly. But just tacked under the Ikamper at the back, there's a power plug in there, Anderson plug. It's a 50 amp Anderson plug that I just run to my deep cycle battery that's in the car. So at the moment I just got that running, so it's just, I just got it running through the crack of the door, and I just closed the back door, and there's enough room there to close that door without crimping too much on the cable. But eventually I'm going to have like a hard mounted access point on the ceiling of the vehicle, so I can easily plug that in and out without running the cable through the door. So that's running off currently I'm using a 120 amp AGM battery. Eventually I will be upgrading that to a lithium, so probably sometime next year, I don't know, we'll see how we go. So far my AGM battery is working fine, I've got no problems with it, so I might as well use it while I can, and it's more than enough capacity to run what I'm running. So without further ado, let's grab the camera and I'll show you a close-up of these light fixtures. Now you see here, that's the LED light that's set up under the fold out section. So what I've done is I've drilled a little hole there, enough to fit the wires through, and then I filled it back up with silicone. Let's climb up the top of the ladder. And that there, you can see here, I'm trying to get it to focus. So that there's your entrance light. So that always stays so you can turn it around as you please. And as you can see, just hit that button, it turns it on and off. Now that stays inside the Ikamper, so we'll climb up inside and I'll show you the rest I've got inside here. And there you can see how the wiring is done. So that's that little hole there that powers to that LED at the front. This is the adjustable light that I'm using at the moment to light up this section. And you can see that it's mounted just over there. So when I fold that up, that there just folds flat along that edge right along there. So it doesn't get in the way of anything. And then we run the power cable all the way along the side here till we get to, and there you can see the power lead. So that there is running to the Anderson plug where I get all the power to. This cable here goes to the lights, and this thick one that's got this protection around it is what goes to the cigarette lighter plugs and the USB plugs. And just up here, that's the adjustment to turn on and off the light that's mounted up there. And in the corner here is where, I don't know if you can see right now, sorry it's a bit dark, and there you can see in the corner is the plugs for the USB and cigarette lighter plug. Now there's one on either corner, so the other side's exactly the same. Alright guys, I showed you as much as I can. Sorry, I'll tell you what, something I've noticed. Before I started filming, I opened those two side windows up. And I tell you what, she's still hot up there. There's not much of a breeze. So unless you get that breeze flowing through, because I couldn't stay any longer than 5 minutes. So I filmed as much as I can. Now it's a bit of a preview video, so I will show you the rest of that on a future video. So as I mentioned, this is a bit of a preview video. So I will shoot another video more in depth and showing you the lighting and how it got set up. Might wait till the weather cools down. It's getting a bit warm now to be doing anything outside, to be honest, because the heat we get in Queensland during summer is just extreme humidity. And I'm not, even though I'm born and bred here, I'm not used to the humidity. It really knocks me about. So I couldn't stay any longer than 5 minutes up there, to be honest, which is surprising, even though I've got the two side windows open, and it was still, the heat was just unbearable. So that was interesting. Maybe it's just too hot. It's just too hot to be camping, to be using shelters such as this. I mean, this is fine. At night time, it's fine. But if you want to have a midday sleep or something, maybe like a little camp stretcher set out the bottom here, or even better, that hexa-tarp. If you have a look at some of my videos in the past, you'll see there's a hexa-tarp there. That's perfect with weather like this. Absolutely perfect, that one there. And that's the type of shelter I'll be more using when I do go out camping from now on, if the site allows it, because it's quite a big tarp. It's quite a huge tarp. So I won't let this go too long. Sorry, I might have missed some of the footage up there. I'm going to do another video. I tried, guys. It's just too hot up there. The sweat was just pouring off me. So I'm going to attempt another video, probably at night time. It'll probably be the ideal. I might leave this up, and then tonight for the day, and then tonight I'll jump in here and do a video, and I can show you the lights, how they work, etc. That might be a good one. So keep tuned. In another day or two, you might see that video popped up. We'll see how I go. So till then, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. I've almost hit the magic 1,000. So all those people out there who subscribe, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But let's try to get that 1,000. I think I've about 40 to go. So till then, look after yourself, have a Merry Christmas, and cheers.